Okay, Potomac Fort. Got a little extra money, a few extra supplies, and some extra weapons. I want to talk for a minute about... oh, God. I want to talk for a minute about my strategy in this particular campaign. And what I'm planning to do is to use every weapon I get. Normally I sell enemy weapons because I can't build units. I can't build full strength units that utilize them. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to build smaller units and attempt to keep them alive. And for infantry units, what I'll do is I'll build smaller units and just have them merge together. So 2 corps, for example, is going to be, it'll probably be like an odds and ends. There will probably be a couple of odds and ends divisions where we bring in troops, understrength brigades, because that's all the guns that I have available, merge them together and use them as a single larger brigade. I also plan to use every gun I can get and put it on the field instead of selling it to buy infantry weapons or things like that. The goal being to get more people, more experienced troops on the field, particularly artillery, so that I can do more damage and focus more damage on the enemy units. I think I've talked about this before, but essentially in a lot of these battles, what you end up with is a situation where what you've got to do is there will be an initial Union rush where they attack your defensive positions. Sometimes you're fighting doing a fighting defense, things like that. But generally, there will be a point where the enemy strength crests, and if you can stop them at that point, you'll win the battle. And so what I'm going to try to do is get as many people on the field as possible, so I can do as much damage as possible quickly, like essentially front-loading as much damage as I can to mitigate that peak first off, and to win the peak and to push them back, and then I can win the battles. So that's what I'm going to try for. We got 169 additional recruits. Yay, we can always use more men. And of course my brigades are battered. First things first, let's rename First Corps. We may want to get rid of Aetius right away. He's an artillery guy. This isn't particularly great. And training, which is not at all what I want. Let's see what we ended up with these 2 brigades. So 1 strength and 1 morale. That is unfortunate. So let's save it with that renamed. This is gonna be let's look at career points. We got 1. The obvious point is politics, possibly AO. At this point of AO would give me another brigade in the division, but for Newport News that doesn't matter because I can only bring 3 brigades as it is. So I will put a point in politics. The next thing to do is get rid of this unit that has the morale buff. I had some interesting experiences with this before. So we'll see how this works out. Take a look at my average recruits here. Okay, interesting. It's the standard numbers, but when I disband this guy, what you'll see is, yeah, the number of recruits goes up, but their stats go up as well. It merges the stats between the disbanded unit and the average recruits. So when you re-recruit, you'll get better men, which is interesting. Cable got his first star, which is good. He'll take ammunition, of course. Not sure what we got. Okay, so we're not in bad shape in terms of weapons. We did not get any guns, despite killing off 2 batteries of artillery, which is sort of frustrating. But we have some available 12-pounder howitzers and 6-pounder field. Yeah. hate to spend money on that guy now. We need to replace Aetius, which is why I'm thinking about that. He's nearly useless. Not nearly. I mean, if it was an artillery, if I was working on an artillery-based setup, this would be great. You know, +5 firearms, +5% accuracy. Yeah, that's fantastic for the artillery. But yeah, I'm not going to have that much artillery, so it's not going to matter too much. And the training, I guess, will help the Newport News. So we'll go ahead and... But we do need somebody to run this other division, so we may end up having to buy that guy anyway. Preston's in charge of... Ideally, I'd like to promote Preston. In fact, well, but Preston's only a colonel. I don't think I can put a colonel in charge of a corps. As much as I might like to. Yeah, so we're going to get Denison. We're going to hire him. We're going to swap him in. And give him the infantry. Or the tactics, yes, that's what I want. Infantry will be next. And the reason I'm doing this is because, so you may or may not have noticed in the last patch they changed how stamina works. Notice that one of the benefits to endurance course is now +10% speed. So that, plus a corps commander who has tactics, means that my units are 15% faster than the enemy units. I'm going to count on this to both escape and to help with maneuver. And that leaves Aetius open to lead 1st Division, so I will swap him in for 1st Division and give Preston 2nd Division. Oh, he's a colonel. He apparently can't take... Oh, okay. Yeah? Okay. And right now we won't worry about Cable. We'll move him down here. Siegfried will get converted to the 1-1. Grenadiers. Okay. Now, weapons. I've got 34,000 and 3,000 men. 682 palmettos, 895 Springfields. Ideally, these guys would have palmettos. So I'll swap them over. Or, I don't know how much it'll cost me. I've only got 403 Lorenzes, so I can't buy those yet. However, the Mississippis are 17 bucks. And if I swap these guys out and gave them Mississippis, how bad would that be? Pretty bad. But I'm gonna do it. We'll run them up to 1,000 men. We'll add another infantry brigade. Of course, it'll be under Kemper. They'll get palmettos, which will cost me 4 grand. 1,000 men. And they'll get their stamina back. And then I will add another infantry brigade. This time, under another lieutenant colonel, we'll go with Rice. And they will get 1842s. Which leaves me with 11,000. They will also get stamina. So basically, every infantry unit is going to get the stamina, so everybody moves at the same speed. I'm not playing this game where people lag behind. Now, we can buff this guy up to 1,500 super cheaply, so we're going to do that. And then we have to decide these guys. These guys are going to be 1-1 rifle. And I explained my naming system on the forums. I don't know that I've ever explained it here. I think I have, but the grenadiers have muskets, basically. Or I've even stretched the definition to be anything that has high melee capability. Like you'll notice that the Lorenzes are also pretty good. They have a melee of 82. The MJNGs and the 1841 Mississippis are also excellent in melee. So that I think the pattern 1853s aren't as bad. Yeah, they go down to 65. So the better rifles, you'll notice that they tend to go down in melee. So CS Richmonds are 81. Okay, so they're not so bad. But so the grenadiers are essentially intended to resist charges. Like having the ability to have better melee gives them the ability to resist those charges, fight off the enemy melee, and push them back. They're also set up for countercharging. It's one of the things that I've used them for in the past and plan to use them for again. Okay, so now we've got 11,000 bucks. We don't have to buy I want to buy the Lorenzes because they're highly accurate, even though they're slow firing. But I don't have to buy them yet. If we look at the battle map, I've got Newport News before I end up facing First Bull Run, so I don't have to buy them until after Newport News. So what I'd like to do is, okay, so I run out of men if I try that, so in that case, yeah, that may not be ideal. It's going to leave 1-2 Grenadier with 1,000 men. So yeah, let's back this out. Let's try this again. Do the swapperoo with the general. Career point into politics. Barracks. I'm sure I could have just set him up there, but then yeah, disband Kemper. Cable is ammo. Set up Aetius as 1st Division leader. Set up Preston as the 2nd Division leader. Move Cable. By Mississippi's.
Yes, sir.
Those guys. Could potentially spend some money on veterans, but let's get my units set up first. Kemper. Get the Palmettos. Relatively cheap. Not use Baldwin. It's Rice. Get 46s. Okay, that leaves me with 1,200 men. Bringing him up to 1,000 with veterans will cost me more than I want, but interesting. Notice that he's a lieutenant colonel, and you usually need a colonel to get these guys their first star, but in this case, we don't, probably because I put the major general in charge of the division, which is so there's some mechanic that goes on with who the leader is, how much experience they have, who the division leader is, how much experience they have, how much experience the unit has, and that's what determines whether or not they get their star. So 1,237 men split evenly between these units. I think I need a lot of money. We're gonna need some for Kemper. Let's say we give him the 450 men he needs. Interesting that you can give this guy veterans, even though they're not veterans. So let's put him at 1200. And we'll put Kemper at 1200. That's okay for him to be rookies because he's all rookies, even though the rookies are better. Okay, so that was 2600. So just getting him to 1200 will take 649 men and 11,000 bucks. Which leaves me about 5,000 to spend on veterans. So if I give him that many veterans, I give him 93.
Yes, sir.
And then get him up to 1,200. Slightly lower loss of skills. And that leaves me 188 men to split between these guys. .88 divided by 3 is 63? Yeah. $62 for him. Okay. Alright, this is what we're going into Newport News with my new Corps Commander, Dennison. Go figure. Alright.